Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge. Welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. And today I've got on the show our good friend Brian, our new friend Brian. We're going to be good friends, though. How you doing today?
Doing great, doing great. Every day above ground is a blessing, so
Yeah.
I can't complain.
Oh, that's good. So for our visually impaired viewers or guests, or not guests, but people who are listening, we always describe ourselves in the beginning. So I'm going to start out. I'm Jerry. I've got brown hair, brown eyes. I'm wearing a headset. I'm wearing a Fledge t-shirt today, always trying to promote somebody in the city. But I guess I'm promoting myself today. And I'm up in my studio office. I'll probably be moving down to another one of the studios later this week. And how about you, Brian? You mind describing yourself to the guests or to
Sure,
the
yeah,
viewers?
yeah. My name is Brian. I've had black hair, dark brown eyes. Wearing a headset as well. I think my shirt is a plaid shirt and it's white, blue, and green. I really like that mix of colors, and I'm wearing a black sweater as well.
So I see New York Life in the background there. Is that a dock on like a lake or something in the other side of you?
Yeah, yep. That's a dock, middle of a lake, and for me, it symbolizes peace. So, I'm real big on peace. So I just imagine myself on that dock, just staring at the world and saying, "Okay, this is my isolation. This is where, I can have my peace inside." So, yeah.
I like it a lot. I grew up around docks. I grew up
Okay.
on lakes, and that is a very peaceful thing. Get up at 6 a.m., go stand on a dock. Nobody's around. The water's smooth.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
will say, my wife and we was up north. I want to say 3 years ago when we was on the lake. And it was like probably 10 that night, and we were standing on that dock, and my wife had her phone, and the dock ended up breaking, so we ended up falling into the water. So story that the concept of that story is something to be careful when we stand on docks. But yeah, that was a funny story.
so let's get into you. Let's get into some stuff about you and stuff about the projects that you're working on.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm born and raised in Lansing, Michigan. Um, I had a pretty rough childhood. Seeing physical abuse in the household wasn't uncommon. At the time, I was living with my mom and my four other siblings. And then through that situation, we were living in Kansas. I got sent back to Michigan. So I'm born in Lansing, moved to Kansas with my mom. Um, then had my mom where the state said, hey, you're not fit to raise kids. And lucky for me, I had a father, that was willing to take me in, unlike my other four siblings. So I came back to Lansing, and then my four siblings went for foster homes, unfortunately. So I grew up in Lansing, uh, again from the age of 8, to on. Ended up going to Lansing Eastern High School, and I was an art basketball player there. So I was able to go to prep school in Iowa. It was a small town called Ankeny. I'm not sure if you ever heard that before.
I haven't. I know a lot of towns in Iowa. I've been all over
Okay.
Iowa.
Oh wow. It,
Uh,
it's, it's
so
it's it's like an hour from Des Moines.
okay.
And Des Moines is probably one of the more known cities in Iowa.
Yeah, I was a wrestler, so I've
Okay.
wrestled
Oh
in
yeah.
Des Moines. I've
Yep.
wrestled up in wherever UNI is. UNI is in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I'm a Quaker too, man.
Oh, there we
So
go.
shout out to the Quakers.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. So
But
go ahead.
I missed what you said. You were an athlete, or you
Yeah.
were?
Yeah. So I was an alright basketball player. So I was
Yeah.
able to get a scholarship to a school. To a prep school in Iowa. Went there. Got caught up with the wrong. That's it. Either the wrong crowd. I ended up getting in trouble at prep school. Like my third month in, I got kicked out of prep school and sent back to Lansing. And at this time, going through this process, my only goal was to go Division One, play Division One basketball. That's all I dreamed about. That's all I wanted to do. But as I got kicked out of prep school, I didn't have the grades, unfortunately, to go to Division One. So I ended up going to Lansing Community College, which is right in our backyard. So I went to Lansing College with a couple friends from around here, a couple friends with East Lansing High School, a couple friends with the Holt, and we ended up having a pretty good team. My sophomore year, we went 31-5. So we won 31 games and only lost 5 the whole year. We was ranked number 1 in the country for 2 months. So we had some good success there. And from that success, I was able to get a full ride scholarship to a school in Kansas, Emporia, Kansas, called Emporia State. And that's where I went for 2 years. Played basketball there as well for 2 years. And so during that time, I had to make a choice. So between my junior year and my senior year, I ended up having my first child, my daughter, whose name is Joy. So I had a choice of do I want to pursue professional basketball, which is for me to be overseas because I wasn't good enough to go NBA. So it'd be overseas, and with that, I will spend 5 to 6 months, away from my family, or I could stay in the States and be with my family. So I ended up choosing my family, which I think was the right decision.
Yeah.
So I went back to Emporia State. I coached there 1 year. I coached there while I had got my degree. So I got my degree while I coached there. That was 2018. Then 2019, 2020, I moved to Kansas City. So it's a great time too because it's when the Chiefs was really starting to pick up, and they ended up winning Super Bowl that year, first year. So this was a great time being in Kansas City. It was a lot of energy in Kansas City area. So I lived there for 1 year. I coached at a high school, which was a top 20, which is a top 25 high school in the nation for basketball. So I coached there last year before I moved back to Michigan in March 2020, right before COVID hit. But we decided to move back. As they say, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
And my wife and her and her family, they're very close. So we ended up moving back to Lansing area, which was another great decision, as that transition made me, because I was 25 at the time, and usually around 25 people think, okay, around 25 you think, okay, what I want to do long term for career wise. And before, I was in the basketball industry, I knew that finance was something I really wanted to get into. So when we moved back in March of 2020, that's when I made the transition from basketball to the finance industry with New York Life, which is the company that you guys can see behind me. I'm not sure what side it's on, but so I've been with New York Life ever since August 2020. So
Okay.
then that's the role I'm in now. So that's a brief overview of my background.
Do you mind if I rewind a little bit and ask you a few questions?
Sure.
So we didn't really prepare for this, and I love this, but so if you just say let's move on, we can move on.
Okay.
But I want to tell you a quick story.
Okay.
So I had my older daughter passed away from a fentanyl overdose. So it's been a little over 3 years now. And she had 4 kids. So I have some grandkids, and we fostered our grandsons, and my uncle fostered my granddaughters. So I'm familiar with the foster system and all of that.
Sure.
And one of my grandsons, so now they've been adopted out to my uncle and my aunt. And one of my grandsons plays basketball for the Missouri Military Academy or something like that. You'd be a great mentor for him, is what I'm saying. He's got a lot in common with what's happening with him right now. And there's things I'm just curious right now. Do you still have a relationship with your mother, or was that kind of finished at the time you entered the foster system?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I went from seeing my mom every day. At the time, I was living in Kansas with my mom. My dad was living here in Lansing. So I was living with my mom, went from seeing her every day to move my dad and being told that I wouldn't be able to see her till the age of 17. So at the age I was age of 9, I guess the Kansas government or state told my dad that I could see my mom until I was 17. So at that, I got that news. I broke down, cried. It was one of the hardest days. No, I had. I instantly prayed, and with me being a God-fearing man, I was able to see my mom at the age of 14. So um, through that time between 9 and 14, I really didn't see her. She was sending me letters and pictures. I believe she was in rehab. I still haven't really talked to her about it, but I believe she's in rehab and trying to recover. She was an alcoholic as well and some other things. But so they see her again to age of 14. But as I got older and with the rise of social media like Facebook is a great platform that we use to stay in contact through my high school years. I actually surprised her with my other siblings who was in foster homes. We surprised her for my youngest sister who was 17 at the time for her graduation. So all five of us was the first time all five of us together since since I was like 8, and we probably my mom in St. Louis. That's where she resides now. But now today, yeah, I probably call at least once every week, and we always stay in contact. But yeah, it was definitely a challenge. Like you said, now I can relate to other individuals who are going through those type of things and tell them how I kind of got through it, or just be open ears and listen to how some things that they are going through as well.
Hey, I just want to thank you a lot for telling that story and participating. I mean, in that question and answer a little bit. I really appreciate that. So you and I are going to get along really, really well. I can tell this already. So how's that? So now you're doing the New York life and you're doing Stewardship Financial, right?
Yep.
I don't have confidence in that word yet. What? Tell us about that, and tell us, what motivates you. What's your mission like with the New York life and the financial systems that you're doing? What's motivating you?
Yeah, so for me to answer that, I got to take it kind of back to why I started playing basketball. So just from childhood, like it wasn't uncommon for me to eat cereal with water because we didn't have milk, or having to put hot water in like a pan and put it on the stove. No, not water, but cold water or whatever, because we didn't have hot water. So we'll put a pan on the stove, put water in there, heat it up, and then pour it in the shower, and keep doing that until we have enough to take a bath. So going through those things, I knew I understood how important finances are and was and is today. And coming from the inner city, we are usually given two outlets, which is the rap or play sports. And I never was the one that was good with lyrics. And football was my thing for a little bit, but basketball is where I really like kind of found my niche. So, but I play basketball not because I love basketball, but I played it to help my family, out of their current situation. So it was the drive to want to help my family, and through that, again, I didn't end up playing professionally, but I sat back and I realized it wasn't basketball that was driving me. It was to help my family financially. And what other way to help my family financially besides getting the finance industry where I can actually learn education? Because you can have $100,000, but if you don't have an education, then you're gonna lose it. But the education gonna help you maintain it and build it and preserve it. So I always had a passion for finance, even when I was playing basketball. And then again, when I turned 25, I made that jump. But my mission is first education. Again, like I'm real big on passing along financial education, things that we wasn't taught in high school. I'm not sure when you go to Eastern, if you guys had like a personal finance class. I don't know, we didn't have anything from finance standpoint.
We had like home economics or something.
Okay.
Where it was BS too, man. I couldn't even do it. It was so boring because it was just like, I don't know, budget, but it was really, really simple. Like how much it would cost to bake a pie.
Oh,
And I couldn't do it. I hated it. I'm a mathematician by degree, but I couldn't mess around with that class. So I don't think it was proper though. It wasn't like what you're talking about.
Right. So realizing that, and I'm realizing how many of us don't know the basics of finance. That's something that drives me every day. And then I kind of live by a creed. So a lot of people think that they want financial wealth, but what they really want is financial peace. So
Yeah.
I really want to push that narrative of financial peace versus financial wealth.
How would you? Well, let's dig into that a little bit. What is financial peace from like your perspective, like what you're talking about? What do you mean by that?
Hmm. Yeah. In the day, it's being able to go to sleep at the end of the day without having to have worries about finances, and there's plenty of things that give us financial stress. There's plenty of things, and one of the big things is debt. And as we've seen with 2008 and with COVID, when the individual, when we have uh, when we're required to pay a lender or someone back, um, it's good until we have COVID, 2008, Great Depression, when you don't have income coming in. So now you're stressed out about having to pay someone else. So number one is not going into debt, or being very cautious about it, because
Yeah.
not having debt takes that burden off our shoulders. And on the flip side of that is to be very generous and giving. I'm pretty sure when all of us give and be generous, and that's I really respect what you're doing, as you're giving us a platform, to express our ideas and things that we're doing, and you're helping the community out. When all of us give, we all feel a sense of pride, and a sense of accomplishment, a sense of like good, a positive, inward feeling that we get from giving. So I really encourage, the debt keep to the minimum, so you can go to sleep waking up knowing that I don't have to pay anyone, right? And all my income, I can keep it, and I can use it how I want. I can use it to give, right? So I think those two things are very important in the realm of financial peace. And on the financial wealth side, I know we kind of talked about it before with crypto and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I'll be first to say I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I do know that the prices are going off the demand, and it's from spectators in the news saying that maybe Bitcoin, maybe first it was maybe saying the cash may be irrelevant in 15, 20 years. I don't see that happen personally, but I guess there's people out there who are smarter than me. But the price has been going up off speculation that the cash, the paper dollar is going down, and the Bitcoin being a new thing in the future. And I find that a lot of people are gambling, where gambling happens when a person invests in Bitcoin, like a lot of a lot of people are doing, because they see in the headlines, Bitcoin is up 200%, Bitcoin is up 150%, without doing the research, and that ties into financial wealth, where you can't go to bed peacefully knowing that, hey, like today Bitcoin is down, I think more than 10%. So that at peace knowing that I did my research, and I did my due diligence, know that I know I might go up this amount, versus just throw my money at something and hoping it go up. So that's kind of the two differences between financial wealth, where I'm just hoping, financial peace, where I have a plan and I'm intentional.
Yeah. So we'll stay away from crypto for a little bit,
Okay,
because it's too speculative, too volatile for
it is.
most people, and we don't want to imply, without knowing somebody's situation, you shouldn't tell them whether they should get into crypto or not.
Yep.
But offline, you and I are going to talk a lot about that. So what's fascinating me about you is that, I don't know, you grew up on the north or the east side?
Yep, north side.
North
Yep.
side. So I lived over on Sadie Court when I grew up,
Okay.
and I wasn't a basketball wasn't going to take me out of poverty, but wrestling did.
Okay.
So I wrestled my way to a scholarship too. You and I are going to have a lot in common, I think. But let me ask you about, like, so you're an independent New York Life representative. Is that what you're called?
Yep.
Are there a lot of people of color in that particular New York Life? I don't know what to call it. That group
Yeah,
of
company.
people.
Yeah. So yeah, Near Life. It's the number one mutual insurance company. And here in Michigan, like I've been in the company for 7 months now. So I want to say we got like 100 agents, maybe around 100 agents, get give or take. And from what I've seen three other individuals, look like me. It really will only one being a female, right? So I think that's something that we as a community need to work on, and that's something I really want to talk about as well. Where a lot of times come from party situations, we think that we either got to be in sports or we got to rap to make out a situation where that ain't the case. No, you can pick up a trade, but me personally, I won't push that. You can get into the financial industry. And you can make a good living in the financial industry and be able to travel with your family, go overseas, and do things you want to do without being able run fast or pick up a microphone and not pushing those things down. But I'm trying to show people that in our community there's another way, for you to make a good living for yourself.
See, I'm all about presenting kids with real, believable opportunity that they can put their finger on. So usually they got some, old white guy at a school telling them you can be this computer guy and you can be this and you can be that. And they go home and they don't have a computer. They don't have hot water. They don't have
Right.
food to eat. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? I can't be that. I'm going to flip Percocet with my cousin or
Yep.
whatever. Right.
Yep.
And I think that, the more opportunities we present that are believable, and your story is believable because you're right here doing this thing, right? What is it? Why'd you come to Lansing? Because of your wife? I mean, come back because of that?
Yep. So what brought me back? The original idea was in Kansas City. Like investing to real estate is a huge thing. And I thought that if I want to invest in real estate, I'm going to do it in my backyard because I actually know the market and know things like that. So that was the original idea. And I think when I told her that idea, she was already thinking about moving back. So she actually hopped on the idea. But yeah, my wife ended up bringing me back. But I grew up around individuals from the city, like the Dr. Tuckers, the Desmond Fergusons, people who really give back to our community and help our community help our community out a lot. And I always looked up to individuals. So that's something that I want to do. I want to be able to help out my own community. I mean, it's different when you can help out your own versus if I helped out Kansas City or if I helped out somewhere else. So I definitely wanted to get back to the community that helped me out so much because I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for all the people in Lansing who had helped me out. So I'm just trying to do my part and get back.
This says Lansing raised me.
Yep.
I'm really proud to have you on the show. I'm really happy you're back in Lansing, and I'm really happy you came back with the plan you want to execute, because I think everything you said right there resonates with me so much. Like, you're my new hero right now, for sure.
It's funny you say that because I feel like I did some research and I was looking at your past videos, and I was thinking they always say we need to get someone their roses while they're here, and basically it means like we need to get someone credit for what they're doing while they're here. 'Cause a lot of times we wait till somebody pass on to say this person's a great person, and I feel that same about you and what you're doing in our community. Like, you really. No, a lot of people say they're in the community, but I feel like what you're doing is really like having an impact. So no, I want to get that back to you. That no, what you're doing is very impactful.
Well, thank you very much. But everything I do with other people, and you're going to be one of these people I'm doing stuff with for sure. So,
Yep.
So let's do some promotion. Let's do. Tell us you got any events? You got a website you want me to send somebody to, or what are you thinking?
Yeah. Definitely. I just partnered with Dave Ramsey Solutions, and Dave Ramsey is a well-known thought leader in the financial industry, and he's known for his financial peace class. So I'm be hosting a financial peace class, and I'm all about financial peace. So it was a perfect partnership. and I'll be doing that May 1st. Still trying to figure out the kinks whether I'm doing it in person or online because of COVID. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
how people might react to that. So I'm still trying to figure out. But it, at minimum, I definitely put that on. And I think the class is so important because I took a class when I was a junior in college, going to be a senior, and then at this time I just had my first child, and I ended up getting married to my wife, who's my wife now. So this was a bit transition year for me in my life, and this class really showed me like the basics and the foundation for a sound financial plan, from saving, from debt management to a mortgage to investing. Like it covers everything that we should learn in school. So it don't matter if you're making 100,000 a year, or if you're making 20,000 a year. This class it will be a perfect class for anyone out there. So definitely, I definitely want to put that in people's ears so they be on a lookout for that class.
All right, definitely when that starts coming up and you get all that worked out, let's make sure we do some promotion together
Okay.
with that.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of young people. Well, there's a lot of people. They don't have to be old, young, or anything that I think could benefit from something like that. Do you work with any of the other agents that are in the area?
Yep. Yep. So the one I work with the most is in this area at least Adam Taylor. He is the only African American woman in our company that I know of, and so me and her, we go back and forth about ideas and things on how we can serve our community. And I know once the snow was all gone, we definitely plan on doing things that we can help our community and getting out of the community as well. So that's something I could talk to you about as well. As her possibly being a good person to bring on as a resource too.
Okay. I'm thinking that, I got Tony Willis on my mind with the Lansing Economic Area Partnership, who's just
Okay.
starting a new division called Deep. But we'll talk about this stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of people that I think that we should be talking to and talking about some programs here and some things to promote. My wife is out watching and she's like, is there something Brian can do with our summer camp, kids ages 7 to 14? I'd really like to know if he'd be willing to be a mentor or do some money talks, some financial talks with them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's actually one of my backgrounds too. Is working with kids.
Mm-hmm.
So in the summer times, I'll always come back to Lansing when I was playing basketball in Kansas. I worked at the Boys and Girls Club. I worked at the YMCA. So every year I come back, I will actually work with kids. So that'd be perfect. I mean, I would definitely enjoy that.
And you are like the epitome of someone that could help me around here with engaging with these kids, showing them a true success story or it's going to be a success story if you haven't defined it as that yet. But even everything you're doing, I like it. You can come at them with a basketball angle and get them into the financial stuff. But I'll have Shannon reach out to you more and
Okay.
talk about that camp for sure.
Yeah.
So you've got that class, the financial peace
Yeah.
class. What else can we promote?
Yeah. Definitely. So something that one of my partner, my best friend, he's a photographer, and his story is crazy as well. Where at the age of 15, he was in the same. He seen his best friend get killed like right next to him, and he is over. He's able to overcome that trauma, and now he's running a very successful business with photography. And we started our own podcast called Be the One Podcast, and we just put it on. It was on YouTube. Now put it on Spotify, as I find that more people listen to podcasts on Spotify, but also visual as well. So, be the One Podcast is a platform where me and my partner Marquand Jones use to inspire again the community, to show them that hey, you can be in a 100-member gang like my partner was, be able to overcome that, go to college and start your own business, or you can be like myself, who grew up seeing my mom get beat on and all these different things I seen, graduate college, and then still be able to come back and help the community out. So we use that platform to inspire others, to overcome the odds. Like, be the one to overcome the odds. Or like we told, you can't do this. A lot of time, if you tell someone a big idea, like, no, you can't do it. Well, be the one to do it. Be the one to put in the work to actually do it. So that's a platform, and it's free. People can listen to, to get some inspiration.
I hate so much how often people hear the word no, or hear the word you can't, or you ain't gonna be able to do that. I hate that. Everybody can do anything they want if they. I love the whole premise.
Yep.
So is that weekly? Is it every?
Yeah, it's a good question. So yeah, we're doing it bi-weekly. So we do one every 2 weeks, and and I'll be doing other seminars that at my time free up right now. I'm busy trying to study for different exams so I can move up in the financial industry. But at minimum, I have a heart for helping people. So if anyone have any questions about finance, or just want to talk about things or challenges they're going through, I'm always open to have that conversation.
Do you have a website? Like, how can people reach out to you?
Yeah, I actually don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I'll have to put it in the comments or something. But I want to say, if you put in, I'm pretty sure if you put in newyourlife.com/bmorton00, then my website will pop up. Another good way to reach me is by email, which is the same thing, bmorton00@newyourlife.com.
All right, I'm gonna put that out there. We'll test the other one and then put it out there.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure it work. I don't be positive if it worked though.
So B Morton 0.
Yep. So BMRTON 0. Yep, perfect. Yep.
Looks like that.
Yep.
All right, I spelled it right today. Yesterday I got it wrong.
Yeah.
What's your mission? What you trying to do?
So my mission, most importantly, is one to be a good steward over what God had placed in my life, whereas my family, my time, my finances, and then second is to show others the importance of being a good steward, and third is how to be a good steward. And I'm blessed to be able to do that for a living from a financial standpoint, where I can do it for a living, which is great. And I'll definitely give that tip to any entrepreneur: is the best way to be an entrepreneur is to bring their business to bring a personal life and a business together. So like what I was doing before I got New York life, I'm still doing today. Like, I'm still able to play basketball, I'm still able to read and things like that. But now what I'm reading helps with my business. So like I was reading the Bible before. I'm still reading the Bible, but now it helps me have conversation with other people now, and that's what I do for a living, which is pretty cool.
Do you play in a bunch of pickup games somewhere?
Yeah. So I think for me that's one of the hardest part about COVID, because COVID shut down a lot of other gyms, and so I think now things are slowly starting to open up with the vaccine coming out. And I moved back in March, so that's when COVID just hit. And I actually plan on coaching this year at a Waverly High School, as my old coach from Eastern coaches there now. But I thought that I would give this year a break. So I don't have access to the gym like I used to have. But I have some friends who recently told me that they have access to the gym. So I will be in the gym real soon. But before this last week, I wasn't really playing like that when it was winter time, because of snow and stuff like that. So yeah, that's been one of the big challenges for me, at least from COVID.
There's some kids clearing some courts today.
Yeah,
you go drive around. There's going to be some basketballs bouncing out there today. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to find them.
So what's something you do every damn day to push your needle forward?
Something I do every damn day is write down my goals, look at my goals, and think about my goals. Right now in front of me, I have my goals right now, from a career standpoint. But I think it's important to have a vision of what you want to do in life. Like, they always say you can't know you can, if we have to put together where we're at today and where we want to be. So I believe we should begin with the end in mind, knowing that, okay, if I want to be this entrepreneur, I have to vision it out and then work backwards. So that and one that allows me to have my actions be in line with my goals. So now I know when I'm doing certain things, it's pushing me towards my goals, but versus me waking up and I'm just doing actions. And they always say we should work hard. I mean, work smarter, not harder. And I think to be successful, you need both. But as we get older, it's kind of better to work smarter than harder.
Do you have you studied Stephen Covey or the Seven Habits? Okay, because
Yeah,
that's one of the habits is beginning with the end in mind.
yeah.
Habit 5.
That's
I don't know.
that's number two, and that's a great book.
It's
Yeah,
number 2.
yeah.
Ye- I used to be certified to facilitate and teach that
Okay,
7 habits, but it's been a while since I looked at them.
that's awesome.
So, um, what do you have goals that are huge goals and then daily goals? Do you have a lot of goals? How do
Yeah,
you look at goals?
yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, so I start with right now. I got like a 5 year goal, and then I actually break it down from a 5 year standpoint. So a 5 year, year, month, week. I haven't really broken down to a day. 'Cause I feel like for me, I don't want to be thinking about I choose every day. But I do have an idea what I think I need to do. Like I do have a system that I need to do these certain things every day, and I know if I do these certain things, which is the activity, versus the end result, like you said, I can reach out to somebody, and they tell me no, or I can't help. They tell me no. Only thing I can control is me reaching out. So I have activity goals versus like end result goal, or process goals versus result driven goals. But yeah, I definitely have 5 year goals. And something that Stephen Covey recommended was we have goals across different parts of the area. So I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a financial professional. So I have different goals in different areas, but start from 5 years down.
I love it. So we daisy chain the shows together, and yesterday on the show I had Amy Zander, who's with Zedia Media, and oh crap, brandarchetypes.com. I actually need to, yeah, brand archetypes. And she has a question for you. And I don't know how, well, I'll just read it. How do you think young people are finding their way through like relationships and sexuality? And I mean, we have LGBTQ kids growing up and they can't talk to anybody. They're not seeing their friends. You've got, kids that are maybe cisgender or whatever. And what do you think kids are doing right now to kind of navigate through that human growth that they're kind of missing out on?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. With me having two kids, I have a 7 month old son, and I have a 3 year old daughter, and knowing that they're not at that stage yet where they're looking for those things, but just vision ahead and me being more aware from me working with kids and things like that. I think kids and teenagers they are looking for advice and guidance, and a lot of times that isn't given, and what is given is movies, television, music. So I believe those things have a big influence on the sexuality of the younger generation coming up. So I mean, if for those that are watching that have dependents, have a little brother, little sister, no, it won't hurt to have those talks with your siblings, your loved ones, because if you don't know, they're gonna get it from these other influences that might not have their best interest in heart. At the end of the day, so I definitely will encourage that.
I love the answer. I felt so awkward trying to figure out how I was going to ask you that question, and you just nailed it with great advice and experience to back that up, man. You and like I said, you and I are going to keep hitting it off for a long time, I think.
Yep.
Tomorrow on the show, we've got Courtney Pepino, and I can't even pronounce her company's name yet, but it's like Demonico's Productions.
Okay.
And they're moving here from New York. They're moving back to Lansing, and they're going to do a lot in the arts and singing and opera and all of this stuff. What question would you like me to pass on to Courtney?
Yeah, so the question I want to pass on Courtney is, do she think space tourism will be a thing? And we could say, yeah, let's say a thing in the next 15 years. Because I mean, and I say that because I know, with the background knowledge of knowing that Jeff Bezos, who just stepped down from being CEO of Amazon, so he can put his attention, his focus towards Blue Origin, which is his space tourism company, and then Elon Musk, who is the owner of Tesla, has a SpaceX. And then Richard Brunson, who's also a top billionaire, has his own space tourism company called Galactic something. So we have three.
Virgin Galactic.
Virgin Galactic. Yeah, here you go. Okay, yeah. So we have three big time billionaires who are in a competition to see who be the first to have space tourism. So I'm curious to know if she think it'd be a thing in next 15 years.
So do you think it'll be a thing?
Yeah, I definitely think it'd be a thing. I said that after going to the Blue Origin website that's by Jeff Bezos, and I went to the about section, and I seen that how in that section he was talking about how they're preparing for our grandchildren, and then like in our past and our next generations. So it made me think that they have a plan for the next 50 so years where they already planned out, and even if Jeff Bezos don't end up going in space, and our people don't, they have a plan where it's gonna be passed down, where they have plans in places where it's gonna happen. And I see it, and I always tell my wife, the world either gonna end or it's gonna happen. So if the world don't end, it's definitely gonna happen.
Yeah. I love the way that you're kind of thinking of that, and you're also talking about, thinking of generations, 3 down, 4 down, 5 down. That's something that's super important in what you're doing, right? Because Black and brown and BIPOC people, they have less generational wealth because they've been screwed around by the system for so much. Even thinking about 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now is beyond anybody who's trying to get their meal for tonight or feed their kids or whatever. So I love how you're thinking, man.
Yeah, and what you put that way, that's kind of like the benefit of not being in poverty. It basically allows you to think long term. Where a lot of times when we're in poverty, we just trying to eat that day. So I mean, that's it kind of brought that to my attention. Where I never thought like that before, but that's a good point.
There's a lot of psychological studies that show that if you are in a desperate situation, no matter who you are, even Jeff Bezos, he wouldn't be able to think more than a few days ahead because he's in survival mode, and your brain wants to optimize your energy. So it can't be thinking about a year from now if you're not going to survive in the next 2 hours, right? So poverty is very oppressing in its own. And then when we keep people in poverty, it, pull yourself up by the bootstraps doesn't make sense to people when they're in that situation. So I really like how you're thinking. I really like what you're working on. I think it's super important work.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I do want to say I will never get on one of Bezos or Elon Musk's rocket, but I'll go with Richard Brunson.
Okay.
I like that guy.
Yeah.
But you show up to Mars, Bezos might have you working in a warehouse up there. You have to be careful with that guy.
Yeah. And right now, like Richard would be the first one from the looks of it, right now. So. He's doing a good thing, and I think he's the only one that has a company that's public, so people can actually people that do believe in space tourism, they can actually invest into space tourism by buying Richard Branson Company.
Do you and Luna Brown? I'm sorry, I'm not putting your stuff up there because I was hitting it wrong. But do you know a guy named Devon Jackson?
Devon Jackson.
He's saying, "Hey Brian, I'd like to work with you. I'm thinking of generational wealth and helping the community. It would be great to have you part of the Bond Like Blood apparel movement."
Yeah,
So,
man, I'm definitely open to having that conversation. I see this on Facebook, so we can connect on there. Get my name on Facebook. It's just Brian Morton Jr. That's a interesting, a name for a movement. So I definitely want to know the meaning behind it as well. But yeah, I'm definitely open to having that conversation.
yeah. And thanks, Devon,
Yes,
for
thank you, Coach.
that. And now I got something I'll throw up for Luna. Luna thinks we're going to turn Mars into a penal colony. So it'll be the next big prisons.
Yeah, so I seen it on Jeff Bezos' site on Blue Origin. So he was talking about from frame to preserve the Earth. So it basically, in short, they're going to take people who have a high network, like these high network individuals, going to leave us down here on Earth. That's what I got from reading their mission statement. And I know for Richard Branson, it cost $250,000 a ticket. So I'm not sure if everyone have that to be able to go to Mars.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not going to be fair and equitable if it's built on the systems that we have today.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, what would you like to take us out with? We've gone a little long, but I sort of had a feeling when we were first talking that we were going to go long. I hope that was okay with you.
Oh yeah.
All right.
That's great.
What would you like to take us out with? Any advice? Anything you want to say? Anything we forgot to promote? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely first want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for giving me this opportunity in this platform, to be able to be here still to this day. Because like everything I've been through, there's no way that I should still be here and not be dead or in jail. So it's definitely a blessing to be here and have a platform where I can help other individuals that come from a background worse than mine or similar to mine. But I definitely want to encourage people to be the best version of themselves. I find that really in our age with social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, a lot of us, even I'm a victim of this. We all post our best life. So we only post what's good about us, but we don't post the challenges, the ups and downs, and we find ourselves comparing our real life, what we know, our challenges, to somebody else's best life. So something that we all can do is, be the best version of ourselves, be who God creates us to be, and I believe that's the way towards true peace.
I really like that. And do you mind if I add something to this that you've done today? And be vulnerable with each other, especially us men. We need to show that we're hurting sometimes, that we need help sometimes, that we don't have to be all tough and hard all the time with each other. We can be vulnerable with each other and we can take care of each other. Because when we don't do that, we put it on our women. And then they got to take care of us all the time. And we need each other. And we need to know that we ain't always all tough and hard and all that stuff. We're vulnerable too. And we've got shit we're dealing with too. So I really appreciate that you shared that in the beginning, Brian. That was a gem to me. And I think it's impactful for people. So thank you again for that.
No problem. And I really like to talk about the women. With me being married, I definitely I give credit to my wife, Jordan Morton, for sticking with me through the hard times. And if I have another piece of advice, is find someone that has your best interest at heart. Find someone that's going to push you to be the best version of yourself, because you guys wouldn't see this Brian today if it wasn't for her. So having that partner is very important.
And my wife is watching, but no joking around. I feel the same exact way. My wife has made me in a big way who I am today, and given me the freedom to be this crazy guy that does whatever. So Luna does have a good. Luna said, "My life's a mess," and I show everyone. That is kind of true. He posts everything. And then Devon, reach out to me. We'll reach out to each other after this, and we'll get something set up.
Yeah.
So, Brian Morton Jr., I'll call you your full name. Yeah. Thank you so very much for being on the show. And I really appreciate you. I can't wait till we continue to get to know each other more and work together more. I really appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you for having me, and everyone that's tuned in. Let's make the rest of the day a great day.
All right. So every damn day at 2 p.m., you'll see another episode of Every Damn Day, and we will see you later. See y'all. Stick with